Hey guys, so I want to make an updated Breach Atlas guide. So once again, I found more information about Breach, more tested myself, more info for the community, all that. So I think it's about time to make another Breach guide. If you watch my original video, it's still very relevant. This is just more so in depth. So first things first, let's talk about the Atlas itself. The Atlas passage tree is a little bit different than what it was in the previous video. I do have the links updated, and of course down below I have a link to the Atlas passage tree if you just want to see it. Essentially, the TLDR here is that we're maxing our tablet effects. Tablets are insanely overpowered. They are extremely strong. So you want to make sure you're taking all these small nodes. The only thing you really want to change in the passage tree is sometimes you want to spec into local knowledge. So local knowledge, as far as I'm aware, shifts the weights of items. So you only want to take this when you're doing swamp and water biome maps. If you're not doing swamp and water biome maps, don't have this allocated and instead have the precursor influence allocated. But yeah, if you are doing swamp and water biome maps, just respec into local knowledge over precursor and you're good to go. Besides that, these are the breach passives. You want to get crumbling walls first, then come up here for rise and pyre, and last, grasp in hands. Now this can be anything. Grasp in hands can be slow breach if your character is not strong enough. Slow breach is pretty strong. Sustained siege. If your character is really fast, you can also take interdimensional assault for even more monster density, although it does close a lot faster, so you really have to be fast if you want to take this. And if you do have the other points like Ritual and Delirium, this is my points. The only important points on Delirium are these two. This just doubles your splinter counts, and this one is pretty important because Delirium simulacrums are pretty expensive, so doubling your splinters is pretty good. Ritual, sometimes you have Ritual on the map, so these can be nice to have for some King in the Mist fights, but not that important whatsoever. Anyway, this is the whole tree. I really want to talk about the important stuff now, and that is how to set up your maps, how to roll your maps, and which tablets to use, which distills to use. Like I said, I kind of went over the last video what you should be doing, but now I'm pretty confident is that this is what you should actually be doing to get the maximum gains from your maps. So yeah, first things first, what type of maps do you want to run? The two best maps, as far as I'm aware, are the increased quantity of items found in this area maps. So the first modifier right there, and the increased number of rare monsters. I don't think there's any other modifier on your map that actually matters. I think these are the only modifiers on your map that do anything. The increased rarity of items found, as I've been saying, we're finding more and more info about rarity, and in fact, rarity is really not that useful past like 200%. This also includes map rarity. The map rarity really isn't all that impactful. I've done like 300, 400% rarity maps, and it turns out they actually aren't even that impactful if you already have rarity in your character. So yeah, in fact, increased rarity on map modifiers doesn't really seem to be that noticeable at all for currency gains. It is noticeable for unique drops, but yeah. So yeah, increased number of rare monsters and increased quantity of items found are the two ideal map modifiers, and it's only two maps you should be running. So if you're wondering, okay, how do you self-sustain maps? Well, Breach. You drop infinite upon infinite maps with Breach. I have 8 dump tabs of maps now. I never run out of maps. I can always run these two modifiers whatsoever. It's not an issue. So what I will do, I'll essentially use my Regex down here, take out all the good maps and all the white maps. So I'll type like, tier 15, normal. Then I'll take all these maps out. I'll put them into a dump tab and I'll alchemy orb every single map. Then once again, I'll use my Regex to filter out the good maps. So yeah, I have infinite upon infinite of maps I can use. So I have all of these dump tabs as well. I have a lot of maps to use. I never run out. I can always run these two modifiers, which is ideal. I don't really know which one's better, increase quant or increase number of rare monsters. The increase number of rare monsters is kind of weird. I feel like it does work on Breach, but it doesn't really seem to match the number it says. When I get 200% increased rare monsters on my map, it doesn't really feel like 200% increased rare monsters in a Breach, but it is more rare monsters, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, try these out for yourself, but these two are the best. Other modifiers, you do want 6 mods. So like I said, what you will do, you take out a map, you'll alch it. If it has the modifiers you want, then you'll just exalt it twice. It's important to exalt it twice. You do want 6 modifiers. So this one has increased rare monsters, right? So exalt twice. And no matter what, you always exalt it twice, because the reason for that is on your Atlas passage tree. This node right here, increase effect of explicit modifiers on your waystones for each explicit modifier, and the tower one as well. So it's very important to always have 6 modifiers to maximize the juice of your maps, and it does make them pretty hard. Then after you exalt it twice, so you alchemy, exalt twice if it has the modifiers you want. This one did because it had increased number of rare monsters. Then you will distill it. So the best distill is probably Paranoia. The reason why, Paranoia gives you increased number of rare monsters, 15% per one, but it is a little bit expensive, like 5 to 6 exalts each. So if you do want a cheaper one, Greed is okay. I don't think Rarity is that big, but it's probably better than nothing. And then even a cheaper one will just be monster pack size. Now monster pack size essentially does nothing for rare monsters, but We'll give you a little bit extra mobsters in the map, so yeah, it's okay. Either way, no matter which one you use, it is very important to sell your maps because of Delirium Splinters. Delirium Splinters do sell for quite a bit, and Delirium also spawns a lot of extra rare monsters on your map. So no matter what you do want to use a distilled, use Guilt if you don't want to spend like any currency, use Paranoia if you want to invest more. So yeah, that's it for maps. So now let's talk over tablets. So tablets, by far, the only tablet you ever want to use is increased quantity of items found in your maps. This is by far the best modifier on a tablet, and it's the only modifier you want to use. You don't really care for, maps in range contain breaches. It's a little bit important, but it's not exactly mandatory to have a large range. It really depends where your towers are at. I'll give you an example real quick. But yeah, these are the only ones you want to run. Increased quantity of items found. You don't care for anything else. I would say a nice secondary one is increased rare monsters in your map. This is probably okay as a secondary one if you don't have any more quant tablets. I'll go over how you sustain these in a second. Essentially, here's a showcase of my map real quick of maps I've been setting up, and some of these are really insane. Some of them aren't that insane, but this has 94% increased quant. So if you're not sure what quant is, essentially 100% quant is double the item drops, and this all scales from your Atlas tree. So this 100% quant usually goes to like 130, 140% quant. So you're getting a 2.4 times multiplier on drops. This is way more important than anything else you could be doing in game. Now, obviously, you want to look for areas that have good maps and good tower placements. As you can see, this area already has 3 towers or 4 towers, and it has more towers over here, and these are all like pretty good maps. Fortress is good, Streaming Springs is good, Blooming Field's good. So yeah, this area is going to be insane. These maps are probably going to end up being like 80 to 100% quant once I, actually go around and collect all the towers. So yeah, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be navigating through these bad maps. So like I navigate through Crypt, so far Karen's is okay, Slick is like okay, right? And then you collect the towers right through these bad maps route. And then you go to the tower, use your good tablets, and then you can run the good maps like Savannah, like Creek is really good, Oasis is really good, right? But you also don't want to do the maps until you collect all the towers in range. So I'm not doing these maps yet, the Creek and stuff, because this tower will buff the Creek. It's in range. So I'm going to go through this way, try to like go through a bad map layouts, collect this tower and this tower possibly as well, and then run these maps, right? You want the max possible quant on your maps, because quant is king and it's way better than that of rarity. Speaking of rarity real quick, like I said, we've been finding out rarity is not as strong as we thought it was. You really don't need more than like 150 or 200% rarity on your character. In fact, you can get away with less if your maps already do have some rarity. That part is a little bit unknown, it needs more testing. But I've been running around with 400 to 500% rarity, and I was trying to do max rarity maps, and there's like 0 difference in currency drops past like 200% player rarity. From my testing, others people testing, and talking to other group players as well, this seems to be the case. So yeah, really just aim for like 200% player rarity, and you should be good to go. Or even less if your map already has rarity, but like I said, that part's a little bit, untested. Anyway, quant is king. Quant is what you really care about. A person actually properly juicing his maps, get 100% plus quant maps, is actually going to drop way more loot than a person who has a full rarity character. So no rarity character with fully juiced quant distilled maps is going to drop more than a full rarity character that's not properly juicing his maps. So that's something to keep in note, and that's just how powerful juicing your maps actually is in Path of Exile 2. So yeah, I hope this kind of explains how you should do your towers, how you should set them up. You at least want to collect all the, essentially do the bad maps. So go through your Myers, go through hidden grottos, collect the towers, and then only do the good maps when you have all the towers in range, and only use quant tablets. And now depending on which range you use, like 9 maps in range, right? You want to use the big maps in range if you need a lot of maps with breach. But if every map already has breach, then it's really fine to do stuff like 6 maps in range contains breach. And in fact, if all your maps do have breach in range, you can feel free to use other tablets like Ritual or the +1 tablets or +1 area level can be useful for higher eye level items. You can use whatever else really, but you do want to make sure every map in range does have breach before you use a different tablet. Now real quick, how to talk about how you sustain your tablets. So also just full clear on breaches is going to make you sustain your tablets. You really want to be doing quant only, but the other important thing is to be using Reforge and Bench. So anything that doesn't have quant, you just put 3 maps in here, Reforge, and you get a new random tablet. So this is what I do for my maps. It is quite tedious, but it is quite mandatory if you want to be doing quant only tablets. So yeah, that's how I do it. You sustain infinite tablets, so it is quite easy to do only quant tablets. Just 3 to 1 all your bad tablets. ID it. You probably need to all get after as well. If it doesn't have quant, just do the same thing again. So I 3 to 1 all my bad tablets. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. That's the TLDR. I hope this helps juice your maps. It's really, really powerful to be juicing your maps properly. You get way more loot. Some of these maps, especially because of this 20% effect right here, 20% to double, you can get 300% quant maps, which is 4 times the normal amount of loot in a map, combined with also having like 100% increased rare monsters, right? These maps have absolutely insane loot, and it's very important to be properly juicing your maps. As far as I'm aware, this is the best way to do it as of this moment. If we do find out more information later, better info, I'll make another video, of course, but I want to share this with you guys to make sure you're juicing your maps properly and getting the most out of your maps. But yeah, that's about it.